Hey friends, Cherie here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you a quick tutorial where I am showing you how to make a quilt top really easily using these pre-cut fabric packs. There are actually so many quick and easy quilt tops that you can make using these pre-cut charm packs and layer cakes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a quilt with one block, the half square triangle blocks. So if you are interested in seeing that, stay tuned. For the first half square triangle quilt, I'm going to use these two layer cakes. These are the same bundles, the same lines. So they are the Cave Facet Collective Classic Plus. This colorway is in Meadow. This colorway is Lake. And these are pre-cut 10-inch squares. And so I'm going to mix and match these. I think these colors are going to mix well. I'll have blues and greens and purples, some yellows mixed together. All right, so I'm going to get these opened, get them sorted and paired up, and then I'll show you what we're going to do to start stitching our half square triangles. I'm also going to do a half square triangle quilt using the 5-inch charm packs as well. This one I'm going to be using 2 packs from Tulip Pink. I have the Moon Garden collection here, and then this is one of her True Colors charm packs, and it has a variety of dots and stripes in it. So we're going to get these opened. I'll show you the fabric. And I'm going to be constructing the quilt using the 2 layer cakes, as well as this quilt using the charm packs exactly identically. So yeah, you'll just see, me working with both quilts throughout this tutorial. So here are the prints that are in the Moon Garden charm pack. And I did do an unboxing video where I showcase this whole fabric line, and I will link to that in the description box. And then here are the prints that are a part of the other charm pack, which is one of the Tulip Pink True Colors collections featuring tiny dots and stripes. And so with this one here, I may not use all of these in the front. It just depends, because the Moon Garden collection does have some geometrics. For example, a lot of these prints in here, which are going to, I'm also going to mix with some of the larger prints. And so I may not need all of these dots. Maybe I'll use them for the binding. Maybe I'll use them for the quilt back. We'll see. I'm going to start just taking out some of the larger prints and pairing them with some of these smaller prints to create as many half square triangles as I can, and then I will decide from there what else I want to use. Okay, so I've gone through and paired up all the fabrics that I want to use. I have them layered on top of each other, right sides facing, and then I've just gone with my ruler and my disappearing marker and drawn a line straight through the center. And that line is going to be where I line up my 1/4 inch foot. And I'll be stitching a 1/4 inch to the right and to the left of that line. All right, so I'm just going to show you really quickly on one square how I've prepped all of these squares for sewing up the half square triangles. So I'm going to, this is just a quilter's pencil. I'm going to just draw a line down the center, because this is going to be my cutting line after I have done my stitching. So I'm just going from point to point straight down and marking that. Okay. You can just use your sewing machine to mark a 1/4 inch. I'm just going to show you here where you're going to do your stitching lines. So this is the center. You're going to come over a 1/4 inch on one side and a 1/4 inch on the other side. Okay, and you can do that at a couple points with a ruler if you need to. But again, just follow your sewing machine guide. And if you don't have that little ruler guide on your sewing machine throat plate, there are special 1/4 inch feet attachments that you can buy. That's what I'm going to be using. And there are other ways that you can make sure you're doing a 1/4 inch. For example, measuring out from your needle position and just putting a piece of masking tape down and using that to line up your fabric. Okay, so whoops, I wasn't straight up here. So I need to make sure that my line is lined up right down the center. So I was looking at the camera instead of looking at the ruler. But that's going to be these are going to be my stitching lines, and the center line is going to be where I'm going to cut. So I'm going to go stitch this. On purpose with this one, I'm going to stitch it with a contrasting thread so you can see the stitch lines. But then I'm just using a neutral off-white thread for all my other stitching, okay? All right, let me go to the sewing machine. I'll be right back. Okay, so here are my 2 stitch lines. And now I'm going to come in and I'm just going to cut straight down that center line. Okay, so now we have 2, let's move this ruler out the way. So now we have 2 pieces that look like triangles, but when we open them up, we actually have squares, okay? And then number 2. Okay, and that's it. And we just got to do this over and over and over again. All right, and so I'm going to get to work. I have, gosh, about 40 of these to do. And I'll be back after they're done and pressed, just like I did with the smaller ones that I showed you earlier in the video. And then we're going to play around with the layout for this larger quilt. So here are all the quilt blocks from the smaller, the 5-inch charm pack. Really fun color combinations. I'm going to get in there, cut off all the strings and all those little corner bits that you get once you press your seams open. I'm going to get that all trimmed away, and then I'm going to get this laid out on my quilt wall. I set up another one in my open studio space because I have a lot going on. I have a lot of quilts going on to share with you guys. So I'm going to go set this one up so I can figure out the layout. I'll take an image or a short video to show you what I decided, and then I'm going to sew it together and we'll see what it looks like at the end. All right, so here are all my quilt blocks now. They are all pressed. Very fun combinations. I'll show you. I press the seams open. All right, so I I laid this out and decided how I wanted to sew my strips together. And so I just want to just show you really quickly at this step. I ended up with having enough blocks to make 9 rows. And across each row are 4 actually 8 blocks joined together. All right, and so I laid them out. I basically decided to do like pairing up polka dots, pairing up stripes, this little geo print, and I did it in a way where they would basically make their own new triangles of dots and stripes, etc. And that's what I focused on with the joining part to go across the rows. And so, you know, you just lay it out however you want it. You can have it completely random. You can try and develop some color gradient if you're, you know, the fabrics that you are working with allow that. Because I've just picked these 2 kind of random charm packs. There were so many different colors in there. So with me, I just decided to keep it super patchy because those 2 charm packs just had so many different prints, different colors, florals, geometrics, etc. And so, yeah, I just laid them out on the floor and then I just sewed straight across each row, making 9 rows. And just took my time. I did row by row just so I wouldn't accidentally flip, you know, anything in the wrong direction. And so you can see here, I have my triangle points pointing down. So that was the only thing that I really try to pay attention to. And when I paired up my stripes, I try to make sure, well, I did make sure that the stripes were going in the same direction so that, you know, I didn't have stripes going horizontally paired up with stripes going vertically. And that's really it. And again, this was just because of the nature of the fabrics that I was using. So now that I have my rows sewn together, I'm heading to the pressing station to get my seams pressed open, and then I'm going to sew the rows together. And as I like to do, again, you can just, sometimes I just lay them out and I take a picture and I just keep referring back to the picture. I just made these little number tabs with some scrap paper so that I am remembering to sew them back in the order that I want them to be for my layout, okay? Do whatever you need to do to keep yourself organized, especially when you're like trying to create some kind of pattern. All right, so I'm going to get these rows sewn together and I'll be back to share with you the final quilt top using the 5-inch charm packs. Okay, friends, so here is the layout that I'm going with for this quilt top that's using the 10-inch squares. So what I decided to do there was basically create blue and green alternating, squares on point as the layout. And so if we go in close, you can see here in the center here, I have 4 green triangles touching each other. And then as I move up, I have 4 blue. And so it's going to create this effect of kind of, alternating green and blue squares on point, but each one, the 4 segments of those squares on point are different fabrics. And so I have enough here. Let's see, I have 2, 4, 6, 8 across rows. And then I have 9 down the columns for this quilt. So it's going to be an 8 block by 9 block quilt top. And then I had these 8 left over. So I didn't have 9 to do a 9th column. I only had 8 blocks left. So what I've decided to do there, I'm going to sew these together as shown, and I'm going to use these for pillows. So I'll probably do the pillows in a separate video. We'll see. So I'm going to go on now and get all of these sewn together. And just like I did in part 1 with the 5-inch charm packs, I'm going to start on this lower left-hand side and just join these straight across the rows. I'm going to get all 9 of my rows done, and then I'm going to sew the rows together from top to bottom. All right, so I'm going to get sewing so I can conclude part 2 of this video and show you the finished quilt top. And then I'm going to do the pillows, show you guys how to make pillows in part 3. All right, let me get to work. All right, so here's the finished quilt. Press those seams out, and yeah, I think it's really cute and colorful. I obviously am going to remove my little labels there for the rows. And then I already know the fabric that I'm going to be using for the backing. So I'm going to get this all pinned up and ready for quilting. And I will be sharing that finished quilt in a follow-up video along with the finished large quilt. But I'm going to wrap this one up here. We're going to finish up the quilt using the 10-inch squares in part 2 of this video, so this doesn't get too long. And there's another bonus in there you'll hear about as we work through it. And so yeah, I'll see you guys back here soon. Thanks for watching.